Welcome to Season 8 of the Finding Peace podcast. This season is focused on practical, trauma-informed tools you can use in everyday life. When emotions run high, relationships feel heavy, or your nervous system needs support. Short episodes designed to help you find more peace, joy, and connection, one moment at a time. Please welcome the host of the Finding Peace podcast, best-selling author, psychotherapist, and speaker, Troy L. Love.
There's something powerful about connecting to what Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers, used to say. Anything that's human is mentionable, and anything that is mentionable can be more manageable. That line carries so much wisdom for trauma work. One of my favorite movies is Enchanted. If you are familiar with the story, Giselle is an animated princess that lives in a fantasy land, and she ends up in New York as a real live, living, breathing human played by Amy Adams. And there is a moment when she is feeling an emotion, and she doesn't quite know what that emotion is until she realizes that she is angry. And she admits it. And she says out loud, "Yes, I am angry." And she was able to process her anger. That was a new emotion, because in the animated world that she came from, everything was perfect and emotions were not felt or recognized. But here in this world that she was now living in, she was feeling emotions and she was able to say it. There have been many times in my life where I have struggled. I've felt feelings and I just want to shut them down and I don't want to feel them. And then a friend will say, "Hey, are you okay? What's going on?" And I will say probably what you say, which is nothing. I'm fine, nothing. But really, that's not true. And so I sit with it a little bit. What am I feeling? When I ask my group members to check in the men's group and the women's groups that I run, one of the very first questions they ask when they check in is, "What are you feeling?" And the expectation is that they don't use four-letter words like fine, okay, and good, because those aren't feelings. Those are not feeling words. I want them to tune in and notice, what core emotion are you feeling? As Mr. Rogers said, what's mentionable is manageable. And so when we're able to name what it is that we're feeling, we now can do something about it. And that works beautifully most of the time. Research shows that when we can calmly identify our emotions, our nervous system settles down. Language can create organization, structure, and containment. But sometimes when we are feeling trauma, it does complicate things a little bit. Because when activation is high, naming things too quickly can actually increase our feeling of overwhelmingness, especially if shame is involved. Because one of the things that shame says is that you shouldn't be feeling anything. In fact, there's something wrong with you if you are. Because when we are traumatized and our brains are activated with the shadows of shame, instead of saying, "What am I experiencing right now?" our judge says, "Well, what does that say about you? What's wrong with you?" And those are two very different questions. Trauma-informed emotional naming is different. It's descriptive before interpretive, meaning we start with experience before meaning. So we don't necessarily need to name the wound right off the bat, like, "Oh, my abandonment wound is being hit." Rather, we might just notice that my stomach just dropped down to the ground, or my chest is feeling a little tighter right now, or I am noticing that my thoughts are going a million miles an hour right now. And by noticing those things and mentioning those things, that starts to slow down the process. And then we can say, I wonder what wound just got stirred up for me right now. Maybe it's rejection. Maybe it's abandonment. Wonder what emotions am I feeling right now? I'm sad. I'm angry. I'm scared. What do I need right now? And the beauty is that when we start to slow things down like that, and we're able to identify what the wounds are, that gives us a clue as to what we might need. So if my loss wound is being hit, what I might need in that moment is some assurance that everything is going to be okay. That as I move forward, life is going to be all right, and that I'm going to manage and things are going to work out. If my rejection wound is being hit, what I might need is some acceptance. I might need to hear someone say, hey, I accept you. You're fine the way you are. I love you just the way you are. Or if my abandonment wound is being hit, what I need is just somebody to show up and be present with me and just hold space. If my betrayal wound is being hit, what I need is to know that there's somebody I can trust, that there's something I can count on that's going to be honest and straightforward. If my neglect wound is being hit, what I need is attention. And if my abuse wound is being hit, what I need is some compassion and respect for boundaries. It kind of makes sense when we point it out like that. But honestly, most of us never really have been able to put words to it. Our nervous system notices danger when our wounds are hit before thoughts can create an explanation. And then we go immediately into that defense mode to defend, justify, analyze, spiritualize, intellectualize, all of which are really just ways that we try to numb things. But tending to our attachment wounds begins with something much simpler. Something is happening inside of me right now. What is it? And that's it. No fixing, no solving, no immediate clarity, just noticing. And lately, I've had moments where my emotions felt so big that my normal instinct was to isolate, withdraw, get sarcastic, become passive-aggressive, or push people away before they could hit my attachment wounds even further. All of those numbing ways have been an attempt to just deal with the pain, but they don't really deal with the pain. They may momentarily feel good, especially when I say a really good sarcastic something, but in the end, shame shows up and I don't really feel better. What does help is learning how to slow things down enough to say, my body feels unsafe right now. My thoughts are spiraling out of control. I am having the urge to disconnect. Not because those statements solve the pain or tend to the wounds, but because they stop me from becoming the pain. And that's the real goal. Not emotional perfection, not perfect emotional vocabulary. Just enough awareness to stay connected to ourselves without drowning in shame. So, here's a simple practice for today. The next time you feel overwhelmed, try saying, something's happening in me. What is it? What am I noticing? And then you don't have to try and solve it. Just notice. What is your body doing? What sensations are present? What impulses are showing up? And then breathe. And then we may ask, what wound is being hit right now? What is the story that my brain wants to believe right now? What are the emotions that I'm feeling right now? What is it that I might need right now that will help me move through this? Because clarity rarely arrives through pressure. Clarity arrives through safety. And safety begins the moment we stop treating our emotions like enemies we have to defeat and start treating them like experiences that we are allowed to notice and have. Remember, you matter. You are important. You are worthy of love and belonging.
You've been listening to the Finding Peace podcast. Special thanks to Intrex for providing the theme music for this season and helping set the tone for reflection, grounding, and hope. If this episode supported you, please like, subscribe, and share the Finding Peace podcast. Your support helps these practical, trauma-informed tools reach more people who are seeking peace, clarity, and connection. To explore more resources, workshops, and upcoming events, visit findingpeaceconsulting.com. The Finding Peace podcast is hosted by best-selling author, psychotherapist, and speaker Troy L. Love. Until next time, remember, you are worthy of love and belonging.